Let's podcast alongside Joe Giglio. I'm Joe Ovies inside Eford Studios in downtown Raleigh. Thanks to Empire Properties and thanks to Copiers Plus. Check them out online at copiers-plus.com. Hey, you know what happened yesterday?
What?
It's tax day.
Oh, yeah, it was.
But we were good. We were cool. Salute to Jay. All right. OG. But maybe you find yourself in a situation where you extended your filing. Got to corral some stuff.
Yeah, that is a thing.
You got to pull all the documents. You got to print documents. You know who makes it easier? Our friends at Copiers Plus. So check them out at copiers-plus.com.
Our corporate champion.
Today's show is going to be a little bit different. We were at Crank Arm yesterday, hanging out with Sara Civian.
Oh,
Civ Report Substack. Go check that out. Bleacher Report and various other platforms. It was a blast to hang out with Civ. Shout out to everybody who showed up to Crank Arm yesterday. Shout out to Crank Arm for allowing us to use their space.
Yeah.
Big shouts to Tom for helping out with the game show. I know you couldn't help yourself with the game show. You were involved with that.
Oh, yeah.
I was busy mingling and talking about cats with people, including Civian.
Okay.
During that time. But we'll bring you the full conversation we had with Civ, including in-person questions from the audience. No sports phone needed. Well, of course, we will have some sports phone today. So we'll get to housekeeping here in a little bit and welcome on Bomani Jones as well to get into a bunch of different topics from the portal to hated Duke players and various other things here. And who knows, maybe even R&B groups.
Okay.
You never know where the conversation with Bomani will go. But since we were talking with Civ yesterday and people had hockey on the brain, and the Canes were wrapping up the season out in Canada today and tomorrow. When do the playoffs start exactly? We're trying to read the tea leaves.
I was going to say, we have a Ouija board.
It's got to be Monday.
Well, it's not. We can rule out Saturday.
It's not going to be Saturday
because they're going to play back to back tonight, tomorrow.
Mhm.
They would need more than one day off, right? Like,
right.
The NHL is not completely heartless.
No.
Right.
It's going to be Monday.
So Sunday.
You want to try to staff Lenovo on Easter Sunday?
So you would think that the team would push back and say, we'd rather not play on Sunday because of staffing issues.
Pure speculation. Okay. I just want to put this out front. This
you and I
pure speculation.
I know, but you and I have been there for a game 83 on a Monday or a Wednesday, and
tickets are already meh. Okay. I got an email from our youth hockey participation saying, hey, you get uppers for $50, upper levels, not those kind of uppers. I'm getting uppers for $50. I'd be, whoa, hey.
We need to do some investigating into this youth hockey room.
What's going on here?
Why are they so alive right now? Man, this first period energy is off the charts.
It's all the Monster Energy drink that they've been consuming, the Celsius that they're consuming. Hey, man, 200 milligrams is 200 milligrams. No, so I got an email that they're doing a special like one-off link. The fact when they start getting into that, and we've seen this over time, now that the Canes are routinely going back to the playoffs, people are saving their money.
It's usually the second round, though. Remember, first round, you got that little buzz. You got that new car smell.
Not anymore.
You're like, you know what? That second round, I'm going to save my money for that conference finals.
I think people are saving their money for the second round now.
Okay.
I think that's what's happening.
They're like, well, they're playing Eric Holla. They're going to beat them. So what?
Yeah. So Rod Brind'Amour's always made it out of the first round of the playoffs. So why am I going to spend my money?
I had to
So I think it's going to be Monday.
All right. You ready for this?
What?
Just so you know.
What?
Hit your corrections.
Oh, hold on. Button. What did I screw up? Let me pull up the corrections and clarifications.
All mixed up, you don't know what to do. I guess we'll clarify and correct something or two. Cause you know what, Joe is not the first or the last. Think they've got wrong in the past.
When you say Rod Brind'Amour has never lost in the first round, you need to remember the Alex Lafreniere rule. In the bubble, technically, that 3-game series with the Rangers did not count as the opening round of the playoffs.
You got me.
So there's a Red Wings fan out there that you're triggering somewhere.
You got
by
me.
saying
you got me,
because the Red Wings had that streak going for
I know
a very long time. So
you got
technically they lost to Boston in the first round. Now, what they were doing in the bubble and how that wasn't the postseason.
No, even though it was a series,
and
it was not. It was a play-in. It didn't count. All that kind of stuff.
I think you're safe with the umbrella of has never lost in the opening round. I think that's your wiggle.
I think the opening round will start on Monday. Yeah.
I want to agree with you, but part of me just says, man, I've been there for those early week ones, and they were like duddish.
And they're going to be duddish regardless.
Okay.
So even on Easter Sunday,
you're saying even if it is the Sunday, the weekend is offset by the fact that it's a holiday, and people in a fairly religious part of the country are not going to be interested in going to a hockey game.
Probably not.
Okay.
If I'm wrong, I'll do a shot of Malort.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not risking that it will be Sunday. I'm not going to risk the Malort. I'll just let you have the Malort. Danger zone, right? Like,
I mean, either that or shout out to Serena. She might have more Malort for us, so I don't have to crack open that bottle, or we do Rumplemintz.
Oh, no, Rump is fine.
Or
I've made
Fernet.
peace.
Or Fernet.
What did we have yesterday? Jameson?
We did Jameson shots at Crank Arm yesterday.
Housekeeping.
Big thanks to Enovana. Check them out online at enovana.com. Green cleaning solutions.
If you have mess inside your mansion or trash in your cabana, get it clean with Enovana.
We should really get them to come up here, shouldn't we?
Oh, it's dusty in here, dude.
Dusty. We might need a new rug. The 1 year with the rug now.
Have we done? Is the rug okay? Is anything?
Are you just looking? I mean, maybe it's my side. I'm the one who spills the coffee.
Yeah, my side's fine.
Your side's okay.
There's a Halls wrapper I got to get rid of that somebody was here last week.
Okay.
That's not my Halls wrapper.
I love it when you come back and you're like, what piece of equipment has been moved by a millimeter?
Yeah.
I can see you on Mr. Toad's Wild Ride. Like, man, this is a lot of fun, babe. But I bet you Chip Patterson or Hayes is over there hitting buttons
that they should
dropping
be hitting
wrappers.
Nope.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Yeah. So my side of the carpet's fine. What's wrong with your side of the carpet? What are you doing over there?
It's crumpled up. It's dirty.
Sounds like a you problem.
Also,
you want to replace the rug, meaning we have to lift all this crap out of the studio and get a new rug in. So maybe we steam it.
Well, we just get Enovana up here.
That's what we'll do.
Give them once over in here.
So one event is done, thanks to the folks who showed up to the hockey happy hour yesterday. Other events are on the horizon.
I was going to say, maybe spell this out for everyone so that we know, or since we're in a good place now too.
Specifically to Bennett over at Heister. The OG birthday bash is on a Thursday, but it's not this Thursday. It is on Thursday, May 1st. And look, bless Bennett.
I love the emergency text this morning.
Bennett is a real one. He helped with the Civic purchase for Caleb.
Help James get his Passat.
We've got stuff coming up for the birthday bash. He's trying to add stuff for the raffle, and he's got some cool stuff for the raffle. And he thought it was this Thursday. No. It is going to be
5-1.
5-1 at Shady's, 6 o'clock. I'll put it out there on the social medias some more. We might have Canes hockey that day for all we know,
which is fine.
Which I think will be great.
Let's see. He has for us a Yeti cooler.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Tundra 45s.
Ooh, nice. Those are nice.
That sounds really nice to me for our raffle. So our raffle keeps growing. Thanks to our friends at Two Roosters. Thanks to our friends at the Heister Automotive Group.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to our friends at the Butcher's Market. Mm-hmm. All of these things will be in the raffle. We've got bourbon. We've got the Roback OG swag. We've got a Drunk Wolf shirt. What I'm getting at here is we got a lot of items, and we have the Jack Roslovich puck.
We do.
The real 96.
We do.
96 rock. Bang! The future of rock and roll.
Do we want to give him the Miko jersey with it?
No.
We got to frame that.
No, we gotta do our own thing with the Miko.
So the OG birthday bash, May 1st, Shady's out in Garner. Of course, that is all part of our friends with Whitaker and Hamer. Check them out online at Whitaker and Hamer, wh.lawyer, attorneys and counselors at law. And speaking of the playoffs, we're going to try to do something over at Breeze Through as well once the playoffs
definitely
get started.
Not on a Monday though, bro.
Not on a Monday.
No.
We might wait for the second round if we're being real.
So it would be Monday, Wednesday, travel day, Friday, Sunday, back here. Ugh.
When do you
think Thursday? We would need like game 7 here on a Thursday.
Well, honestly, the Canes kind of play with their food from time to time. So I can imagine them taking the Rangers out in 6, even though they should beat them quicker than that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Devils, my bad. So yeah, anyway, we're going to do something to breeze through. We're just trying to nail down when the playoff schedule works out for something like that. But in the meantime,
Stay ready.
If you're headed to the playoffs, you enjoy, tailgating and whatnot, drop by Breeze Through. They got an awesome beer cave and they'll help you out. And of course, our friends at Breaking Tea, go to breakingtea.com/OG. That is where the Ovies and Giglio shirt collection is. We got our one-offs and whatnot, but the permanent rotation of shirt collections, including the new one, the Golf OG, that is available on breakingtea.com/OG, along with the Ice Caps one, the Skyhawks, the Dead Conference, Positive Vibes Only. We got all that kind of fun stuff. Hoodies as well. It's all at Breaking Tea. So go to breakingtea.com/OG. Joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline is Bomani Jones. Right Time is the podcast. Bo, what up, man?
Hey, man, just another day in the life. You know what I mean? Hopefully it'll start getting warm in this motherfucker.
Oh, yeah, you got that New York stuff. Do you get the spring of deception in New York where you get that like one day?
Apparently they had that when I was in Indochina. I went to Indochina for a couple of weeks, and apparently it happened there. It was chilly when I left. It was chilly when I came back. And in between, I was fluctuating between the 80s and the high 90s. But I came back and it was just like what I had been expected, but I'm a little bit over it now. Like, let's get to going.
Yeah, I'm over the pollen here, man. My eyes are like sandpaper right now. It's brutal. By the way, how many suits do you need? Do you even wear suits now?
It's so funny you mentioned that.
I know you were there and you got some suits.
Yeah, I got 2 suits when I was there, but in part because I had a zillion suits when I did TV every day, but I had to throw them all out because I don't fit them anymore. And so I literally had no suits. And so I went to a wedding last year and I bought a suit. And so when I was in Vietnam, I bought suit number 2. And then I did this thing that everybody tells me I should do, but I've only needed one time in the 10 years since I started this practice, which is I bought a tuxedo.
Yep.
Everybody says I need one. And I guess you're right. I just ain't, nobody invites me to that kind of stuff.
Well, so Caleb just had prom at Enloe and we got into that.
Hold on, I'm that old?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
17.
Yeah. Just got him a car too. Shout out to Heister.
Wow, you got him a car? I mean, I understand that, shout out to you, Easter, but dang, okay, I got you.
Oh, it has 160,000 miles on it. It's a 2000. The car is as old as him.
Okay, I feel you. But you know what? Shout out to him. I know where that's going, but go ahead.
No, trust me, we've had that conversation. The motivation to finally get the license finally kicked in. He's about a year behind on those things, but you see, you're clapping. We've had this convo. It finally clicked. He's like, oh, you mean I can just go see my girlfriend?
Yeah. Yeah.
We had that conversation about the tux. So
it's cheaper to buy one.
It's just cheaper to buy one, but the kids don't even do tuxes, right?
Really?
Yeah, so I went to the Arboretum where everybody was getting their photos taken, and it was pretty interesting to see what the fashion choices are. As Kelly pointed out, prom dresses are prom dresses. There hasn't been a lot of variation to a prom dress. But what the dudes wear has gone completely in varying directions. Nobody does one thing. It's not just your traditional tie, cummerbund kind of situation. A lot of sneakers. The sneakers are more expensive than the suit in a lot of these cases. I went to H&M and got him a black suit, straight up black suit, and dressed it up. Black tie, black suit, white shirt, belt, shoes, right? So
part of the fun to me was doing the thing. You know what I mean? Like,
I agree.
Like that was part of it because it's not like we were ever going to do this otherwise outside of marriage. Like that's, that's part of the charm. It's interesting to hear that said. The sneaker part, I do get, and I can like kind of understand on that front. But no, the woman shows up at the school. They show up with the catalogs and everybody goes and gets fitted up. You know what I'm saying? Like that's part of the bag.
Well, also part of the bag. I asked Caleb, I'm like, all right, well, what are the youths slow dancing to? This is another rite of passage at a prom or at a dance, right?
Oh, they don't make no songs for that no more.
They don't make songs like that anymore. I was asking him, I was like, what'd you guys do? He's like, no, we hung out at upstairs. They had like a jazz ensemble.
I was about to say, dag, man, because man, her booty can't stay still to these other musics. How are you supposed to, work it out?
This has been a thing that Joe and I have talked about. Dimitri was filling in on Monday. We kind of brought it up too. And we've been kind of trying to figure out what the deal is. And I think I finally figured it out. And this is a perfect conversation for you. What happened to the 3 to 4 dude R&B ensembles or the 3 to 4 female ensembles? Where is the Jodeci? Where is Shy? Hell, give me the vaguely ethnic bros and George Michael combination. Color Me Bad. They don't exist.
Shout out to you, All for One. Remember them?
Right, but they had a song.
They
Wasn't
did.
the problematic guy who was groping them and behind all of them? Isn't that?
Oh no, that's the one that was working with the white boys. You know about the dude in Orlando? Yeah. Nah.
That's different. That's different.
Yeah, he strictly did that to white boys.
Yeah.
A very interesting case of knowing who you can get away with groups. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Diddy. Yeah, we were out in Hollywood, and the boys definitely when they saw the Diddy star on the Walk of Fame, they were like, "Oh, how long is this going to be?"
And that's actually something I hadn't thought about because digging up a star on the Walk of Fame ain't easy. Like that thing is in the ground.
It was like 3 in a row on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Bill Cosby, then Diddy, and I was like, Of course, the kids were taking pictures, sending to their friends, like, "Hey," like, that's what they thought was funny.
But it's like, who knew? Somebody knew. Somebody knew that they had just set up a whole wing. Like they talked about how the Hall of Fame should just have a steroid wing. Somebody knew. Like Kevin Spacey, he over there.
He probably was in the vicinity. Yeah, he probably was. But no, so like, I'm curious. I read something on Defector recently where they highlighted something called sexy drill. And I'm familiar with drill music and the problems that come with drill. For those who have no idea what I'm talking about, the best example I can give you that your kids might know is Ice Spice, right? Mm-hmm. So I looked up sexy drill and it is horrendous. It is just the worst beat with a guy talking over saying lewd things. I'm like, at least give me "I'm sorry I cheated on you" slow jam.
Well, so to me,
by Boys to Men,
Yeah. So to me, it's not even so much about what happened to the R&B group because the group and the band, all of it, if it's not coming out of Korea, it ain't really happening, right? Yeah. Like Chuck D has always made the point that he felt like the elimination of the rap group came because dealing with the group meant dealing with more people, and the industry didn't want to have to deal with that hassle, which, by the way, I could understand. But the group in general has gone away, and I don't think the group ever is coming back because you got to hang out with each other in order to like have a group. Like the interpersonal dynamics that lead to groups coming together, it ain't gonna happen over a computer. It's just not.
Yeah, there's that too.
Like you can start a hacker gang over a computer. That works.
You get on Minecraft and play with your boys on a server.
Yeah. But like in terms of creating and that sort of stuff, it don't really go. And so part of what I'm curious about, and maybe you guys can help me, and I don't know how much this travels over to you guys' side of the tracks. And hold on, let me make sure I include everybody here. Mm-hmm. Your side of the tracks, or tu lado de los Vías Fereas. I don't really know, like, if just people just like singing, you know what I mean? Like, that's your bag. They know you from church because you can sing. You just kind of like, like singing on the corner was what it was back in the day. But like, you had a talent show in high school. That don't necessarily mean somebody can sing, but that's what they're going to try to do. Do these little fuckers even value that?
No, I don't think they do. I mean, I think
that's wild because girls got to still like it, right? I mean, dudes too, but girls got to still like it, right?
I mean, that's what I try to explain to Caleb. Like, do something. He's playing guitar now. I'm like, perfect.
Good start. Good start.
That's a good start for that sort of thing. Speaking of music, do you think Bill Belichick is picking out like the right song to post on Instagram with Jordan Hudson right now? It's his birthday today. Happy birthday to Bill Belichick. So who's going to post first? Is he going to post something, or is Jordan going to post something for him on his birthday? And how sappy will it be?
Guys. We're coming up on the day pretty soon, but it'll be 12 years, May the 11th, that I packed my things and began to make my move out of North Carolina and to Miami.
Mhm.
I have not like been a daily presence in media in North Carolina now in about 16 years. There are times that come up and I miss it, right? Like I enjoy doing radio there probably more than I enjoy doing anything else, right?
Yeah.
I cannot imagine having the opportunity 5 days a week to watch what is happening with Bill Belichick. It is, to me, the single most amazing story to happen in sports in my 44 years of life, right? And I think it's hitting me just at the right time in my life to get this, right?
Okay.
Now, I can't see myself dating a 24-year-old, and I'm 44. Okay.
Mhm.
I can't see that happening. But I'm not gonna pretend like I don't understand it. And that man is clearly having more fun than he has had in his life. So much fun that he bring her to his job. And not just so she can sit there and read magazines.
No,
She does stuff.
she is
Like-
the social media manager. She is telling North Carolina what to do.
Yes. And by the way, she doesn't seem to be incompetent at the things that she is attempting to do. Like she has fit, like, I would love to read some story about what she was like as a kid, because she seems to have slid into this role of the future of being a college football first lady like she was born for it.
I'm too busy looking up Billboard songs from when Bill Belichick was 25 years old, which was 1976. So
There's got to
trying
be
to find
Philly,
some
the Philly
bangers
sound
here.
was probably still
I'm
kicking.
I was
Then.
about to say Teddy Pendergrass,
Yeah, man.
1976.
some bangers
dude.
here for her to be like,
Actually,
maybe she calls him BB.
She clearly
BB. This was what was number one when you were my age.
was
Like,
was Teddy out in 1976? I should just pick that up on vinyl.
Teddy had just left Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes.
Oh, okay.
he'll never go platinum.
He had just right. You never go platinum. He had just left. But thank you, Joe Giglio, reminded me what I tell people all the time, boy. That G-Funk. You want to talk about going on both sides of the tracks, boy. That doggy style made it. I went to school with girls like, I don't like rap except for regulators and doggy style.
What was that?
I got seen and heard these things.
You're a
right there.
Southern white girl.
What kind of Texas is that?
That's right there. But no, but Belichick, I can't. I don't even know if I care if they're good. I don't know if they're going to be good. I have no faith in his eye for talent. There is not a lot of precedent to indicate that he would be good making this change. But for me to see a news story from a FOIA request from our old friend Robbie Pickerel being told, hey, copy my girl on the emails.
Yeah.
All the emails.
And Bill being aware enough and probably being told by Jordan, they're calling you a predator in the comments.
Predator. Yeah.
And
whoa.
have you not seen the athletic?
No. I did see that.
Oh, okay.
This is my question.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever talked to anybody whose father was aged, who was dating a very young woman?
No, not in my experience.
All I'll say is this. Go find somebody in that dynamic
Mm-hmm.
and ask them who they think the predator is.
I see what you're saying.
Right?
What?
I'm just throwing this out. This is my question.
Hey, you and I have talked about this, and that the meet cute, that doesn't make sense. Like the whole idea where they met on a plane. She was sitting first class too. Like,
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No. Like this is, I mean, she's a beauty pageant girl, right? Like, I feel very confident saying that if this does not work out with Bill Belichick, her next, it's not going to be a boy her age that comes up next. She now has access to a whole world of these rich dudes. That if she likes this, like if this is the lifestyle that she digs, she can live like this forever if she so chooses. And I don't think it's because all these old people are taking advantage of her.
Right. Now I see what you're saying. I'm with you.
Yeah, yeah. That's
I'm
what I
with you.
thought was so
But to your
fascinating.
point-
When I read that, I thought they were calling her a predator.
No, they were calling him, and Bill was like, "Oh, I can't imagine that UNC would abide by this." And then Robbie has to respond, "Didn't see anything in the comments. Not sure what you're talking about."
You know what would be great is, there's people that we know. Elliot Avent likes to bring in former media people to talk to his team about media training. I think it would be amazing if Robbie were to call Bo and say, "Hey, Bo, could you come talk to Bill and Jordan about either A, you either need to get in the comments and start fucking fighting, or B, you got to ignore them, right?
And
Bo,
they're not ignoring
Bo,
them.
that would be the advice, right? It's either one or the other,
Yeah, like
because you're the king. You are the king of fighting with people online,
no,
or you used to be.
He's a changed man now.
Very retired. I am very, very retired. And I'm very retired because I couldn't tell if the people were people, right?
Yeah.
And you have to understand, and this is somewhere where just kind of all the industry, it's a lag, and I don't know how to address it or what it means. But people really only go to these apps to be unhappy. And so when you post it, the purpose, like, it's not your intention, but the fundamental purpose is that people are going to be mad at whatever the thing is, right? Like that's what this is a place for. Yes, you need to get off of the Instaface or the Snapbook or whatever it was that he called it that one time when he acted like he didn't know no better.
Snapface is what he called it. Yeah.
Yeah, Instabook. That's what it was. Instabook is Snapface.
The part
Every day. You get to talk about this every day.
So here's where I think it's more interesting, because I see where like the misogyny comes through when talking about Jordan. I think she absolutely knows what she's doing. You talk about media literacy. She probably needs to explain to us how things really work online these days. Number one, Joe and I were talking about this yesterday. The big surprise is that Bill Belichick, Mr. Rule, how do I find the ins and outs of this stuff? Doesn't understand that working for a state institution means that your email correspondences are subject to FOIA requests in the first place. He's like, wait a minute, this never happened in the NFL. Right. It's a private entity. You can do whatever you want to do. Unless it's hacked.
I bet you 8 rings at gmail.com is available.
Probably.
I bet you, Bill's cuck at gmail.com.
But hold on.
I bet you Jordan Rules. Maybe not Jordan Rules.
No, Jordan Rules.
That might not be there, but there's a lot of at gmail.coms that you can create, sir, to communicate. By the way, all of the people who work for the university already have one. Right.
But Joe, as we learned with the infamous 216 cell phone number.
Yes. Yeah.
Once you use it for the other stuff.
Yeah.
That's the key, though. You got to balance it. As long as you're using some of your emails, then nobody knows about.
Yeah, you got to be like, I'm turning off the Wi-Fi.
Yes.
Yeah. Or you just get on Signal and just hope that you don't add Brendan Marks over at the Athletic accidentally.
When I was in Indochina, only 2 stories broke through the news.
Yeah.
LeBron and Stephen A's little tiff and that Signal chat thing. Those are the only 2 things that got to me.
I do want to get back to the Stephen A thing here in a second, but to wrap the point on Bill, because I was curious about this, actually from both of you, because I know part of the email responses were about messaging around Stephen Belichick, the son. And, there's this whole business about coach in waiting. It's the one thing that UNC went, whoa. We'll give you all this stuff, but we ain't naming them coach in waiting. Okay.
Right.
And part of that FOIA request was Jordan. And I got to imagine that the 38-year-old Stephen Belichick is just like mind melting that the 24-year-old girlfriend of my dad is sitting here talking about me like a stepmom here. Kind of weird. So
believe there's an entire industry based on that entire premise.
I know. And the whole thing is that
a genre, if you will.
Yes. Steve is going to stand on his own. So this gets to the question. Why is Steve here other than for that? No, being serious. Because the football knowers will tell you that he was pretty good at Washington as a defensive coordinator. So if you've already kind of established yourself and you already have the name, why would you come here if you know it's going to be viewed as nepotism? Unless ...
Yeah, I mean, the plan, even if it's not on paper, is for him to be next, right? That's I get it. We'll see. I just like to point out about Steve Belichick. There are a lot of things that I would have expected from Bill Belichick, right? A lot of things that are on the board. To me is less likely than Bill Belichick having this PYT girlfriend who's running his affairs is that he would have a son with a stupid haircut. Does he still have that stupid haircut?
He's cleaned it up.
So he doesn't still have that mullet.
No,
okay. Because I just couldn't believe that Bill Belichick was bringing around his son who had a stupid haircut. Like that's how you know Belichick really trying to make up for lost time and he wasn't around the house. You're not going to tell me for a second that that's a man that would tolerate his son having such a stupid haircut. We'll see if he's good at this defensive coordinator thing. He wasn't so great at it when he was doing it for the Patriots. But if you say he was okay with Washington, I guess. But he's going to be the easiest person to point at regardless of what goes wrong. The son of the coach is the easiest person to point at. That defense better be lights out.
So
while they try to teach Belichickian schemes to children.
So this is the latest photo of Steven. He's got the man kicking right now.
Yeah, even still surprised. Still surprised. Belichick, still surprised, gotta say.
You ask why he's here. This is a grift. He already gave the game away in his introductory press conference where he said, I'd rather not work.
Mm-hmm.
This is not working to him. So in the on paper fantasy land of, see, I'm completing the circle of my life, going back to where my dad worked, and I'm bringing my sons with me. Right. There's two very interesting things that I want to see come out. Number one, is this Jordan Hudson going to be enrolled in the prestigious Carolina Business School? I would bet money that that's going to happen.
I'm with you on that.
I suspect she did not get there on her bona fides either. Now,
I don't know. She seems like a business person to me.
I don't know.
I think I don't want to disrespect the school in Connecticut that she went to.
Okay.
Google right now. I'm pretty sure it was what I could have fallen backwards into.
That's
Bo.
fair.
Okay.
My bad. I wasn't familiar with her.
This was not UConn. If I'm remembering correctly without Google. All right. Also, I was told it was also part of that negotiation. And this is not from some bullshit source either.
Yeah.
This is from the real deal. Okay. The people who sign off on the actual paperwork, real kind of deal source.
Yeah.
Bridgewater State.
Thank you for looking it up for me.
Hold on.
She was a cheerleader.
Let me double check this part because the AI is throwing it out there and I don't know if it's true. Okay, I'll just say it with the caveat. The Google AI says Jordan Hudson attended Bridgewater State University where she was a cheerleader. She was on the team that won the 2021 NCAA Collegiate Cheerleading Championship. Hudson also studied cosmetology at the New England Hair Academy.
So I'm going to tell you, Bo, there's probably not another cosmetologist at the Keenan Flagler School right now.
You're on to something, buddy. You're on to something.
This is a grift. And he announced it at his own press conference by saying, I'd rather not work and I'd rather not be retired.
Yeah.
So he's coming here. He's taking care of her. Fine. He's taking care of not one, but two sons. Fine. And
Lombardi. He's taking care of his boys.
He's taking care of himself with $10 million plus this ridiculous expense account, which I'm going to FOIA where this fucking pizza money's coming from. Because people acting like he's some sort of fucking Rockefeller by buying pizza for people. It's coming out of the school expense account. God damn it. Now, add into that, you got not only Lombardi, but Lombardi's kid.
He's there.
It is a grift. Yeah. This is an FX series with the British guy. It is a pure grift.
You guys get to talk about this every day. And we don't know if they're going to be good at football.
They're mid. Their schedule's a piece of cake.
The schedule doesn't lie. I wrote this out the day he agreed to the job, and it's so bad.
It's a piece of cake.
It's so bad.
If they don't win 8 times, it's going to be
But think about. But here's what I'm saying: if they don't win 8 times, okay, you got Bill Belichick to win 8 games.
Yeah.
Well, this is the ultimate test of one of your axioms. Triangle football, man.
Yeah. It's a 7-win school, right? Like this is going to be the real test of like what it is to be a 7.5. It's a 7.5 win school.
It could be. I referenced this the other day. It could be the John Wall recruitment by Duke, by UNC football, to let people know we're serious about football, that we've spent all this money on Bill Belichick. So whenever this happens, but it's not even working, right? I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
I texted Chip yesterday. I'm listening to Cover 3, and the podcast was burning questions coming out of spring games. And they go through all the conferences. They get to the ACC. They talked about 2 schools from the ACC. Clemson and Florida State. You would think that the school that spent all this money to get the multi-Super Bowl winning Hall of Fame coach would be discussed in a national podcast for college football. Did not come up. I texted. I'm like, you got no burning questions about Bill? It's like, cut for time. Wow. Okay, then. You'd rather talk about Cade Klubnik at Clemson than Bill Belichick. I'm just saying this out loud. I'm not saying this, Chip's making these decisions. I just found it interesting that it's not even working on the national level.
You don't have any numbers, you don't know anything. I mean,
right.
To be fair on that front.
Yeah.
I think 2 years ago, we probably would have said the same thing about Deion Sanders in Colorado. Then they rattled off a few wins and everything changed. Now, the difference is with Colorado, they rattled off a few wins, and then even with a few losses, they could still keep it going because they were playing those Friday night games. So let's say, as I now look at this North Carolina schedule, let's say it is conceivable that they could start 4-0, right? TCU at home, Charlotte, Richmond, and at UCF. Let's say they start 4-0. They get Clemson at home. Game day is showing up, maybe, right? Because that's also like Texas-Oklahoma weekend. Yeah. But I think there's a good chance that if Carolina's ranked and Clemson is highly ranked, then game day is showing up at Carolina. That doesn't happen if Bill Belichick is not there, right? I think this all gets different once they play.
They'll be there for the TCU game.
Yeah.
Oh, no, they're gonna be whatever that Atlanta game is.
I don't know. Actually, this would be a good test of just how much sway McAfee has with game day. If you think about
that's true.
Because McAfee is the star of game day, and if he
Plus
wants
it's a Monday game, they could do both.
If they want to show up in Chapel Hill to go hang out with his boys and things like that, I'll disagree with you on this about the Deion Sanders thing. Deion has one thing going that Bill Belichick doesn't, and that's a personality. He's a star. Deion's a star. There was a legitimate curiosity to watch those Colorado games. There's nothing about Bill Belichick that is a sparkling personality that gets you to watch.
Two other things too.
Yeah.
Travis Hunter, Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, what does Carolina have?
Yeah, but I'm saying, in 2023, we didn't really know those things in the way that we knew them later, right? Like I think
Hunter was a 5-star recruit, and his kid is.
But let's say this. Let's say they come out in that TCU game and they don't just win, but they win like 45-20.
Okay.
I think I think it goes from there.
Maybe. I just don't. But you know this. Deion's a lightning rod. Deion had the HBCU stuff. He had the showing up and like, I'm showing up with my Louis Vuitton. You guys are getting out of here with your duffel bags or whatever it was, right? Yeah. Like there was a lot more going on with Deion that made him like, and people also wanted to see Deion lose. Okay.
Yes. Oh, you think there's nobody that wants to see Bill Belichick lose?
Maybe some NFL insiders do. I just don't think people care. I really don't. I think TV executives care. There's going to be like the Jonathan Joneses of the world who are going to watch with glee. I know Mike Florio probably already has it in his drafts on Pro Football Talk. I think NFL people will want to watch him fail, but I don't think college people necessarily care in that regard.
Well, I think I think that's a fair point.
Okay.
But I'd also make the point with Deion that the surge of interest came from outside the typical college football sphere. I'm just saying, I just think that if they start putting up some numbers, I think people start coming around, and I still think that TV is largely influential, and I still think that ESPN sets the agenda for what people care about. I think that Colorado was in an interesting place because there were two networks with an investment in the boost of that brand. It was Fox and it was ESPN. Both of them had enough of a piece of that, and they like you had a weekend where both shows on Saturday morning were in Boulder, right? Yeah. I think ESPN has a vested interest in getting something out of the ACC if they can. And historically, coaches have been the stars of this game.
Yeah.
Right, you also know there's only one way to win in college football. That's why I bring up Hunter and Shedeur.
Yeah.
Because Hunter was a 5-star top recruit. His son, whatever they were ranking him, that was foolish.
Right.
And I think it's foolish for NFL teams right now to be like, oh, yeah, this guy's not going to do anything. Okay, sure. He's a really good player. And those genes count for something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
May I direct you to Patrick Mahomes? May I direct you to Steph Curry? Okay.
Yeah.
Not
And that
saying he's gonna
team,
be those guys, but those things help, right?
yeah, and you're right in that
Bill's
that
got
team
none of
had
that,
a person. Yeah, that team had a
Bill's got a Holy
personality.
Cross center, a couple of lacrosse transfers, and a Purdue backup quarterback
And I
right
guess
now.
they're in the running. Today is the opening day of the portal. And it was one of the things I wanted to talk about today, but we're running out of time.
Well,
here.
hold on, right fast though. This is what really stinks about this.
Yeah.
You can't cheat in college football anymore. There's no such thing as cheating.
No.
There's
That
no
was how Belichick was going to make himself a polarizing figure. We have reason to believe he enjoys cheating. Now, whatever joy he might get out of this is kind of gone.
It did. But did the joy of cheating for Bill Belichick go away for his enjoyment of, I'm going to turn this football guy, I'm going to make this guy into a football guy and prove you wrong?
No, he's going to do old school cheating stuff. He's going to be Connor Stallions type stuff.
I agree.
Oh,
I've already told him we're going to
okay.
get some cockamamie formation like he did with the Ravens. We're going to get like the 3 penalties in a row.
Yeah.
We're going to get the look at the big brain on Bill.
Yeah.
All to beat fucking Syracuse by a field goal.
You could do that with professionals. I'll be curious to see how college students deal with that crap.
I gotta be honest. I've never felt more like I was talking to 2 state grads than I have for like the last 5 or 6 minutes. Like you guys do a good job with that. I have to be honest with you.
Well, no. That is called decades of mid-ass triangle football coming through. It has nothing to do with
Correct.
school you went to.
Correct.
It's just like, do
Correct.
you really
Fair.
think you're going to be doing this? Nah, you're all the freaking
Fair.
same. I mean, Duke
Fair.
spent $4 million on a quarterback from Tulane.
Oh, yo, man, these numbers are bananas. Remember when they were like,
I know why Nico went to Tennessee and said, hold up.
yeah, Nico
You're
got
Tennessee, and
Nico
he's
got
getting
a
$4
horrible-
million.
Nico got horrible advice. That's
He
all
did.
that came down to. He just got horrible advice. Like I said, he pulled a gun and said, "Give me your money," and they were like, "Nope." And he was like, "Well, shit, you weren't supposed to say that."
I have one more question for you before we say goodbye. I wanted to follow up something from your podcast on Monday where you were talking about things that broke through while you were overseas, and the LeBron Stephen A thing was a big topic of conversation. And you said, and I agree with you, that in the context of Stephen A running for president, he is famous enough, right? He is famous
Yeah,
in a way that is similar to Donald Trump.
yes.
But does Stephen A understand that as famous as he is, he's not LeBron? And
No, and
that's
that-
what got him in trouble.
It's so funny you mentioned that. I can't remember if you and I talked about this.
We
but
probably
I made,
texted about it.
yeah, but I made this exact point to somebody that he was going to have a hard time winning that fight because LeBron is such an overwhelming force, right? Like there was a time where you could get in on the weakness of it, right? But at LeBron's age and at this point, no. You weren't going to win that back and forth with him. It wasn't going to happen. Now, does Stephen A know that he's not as big as LeBron James? Yes. But does Stephen A feel like he isn't as big as LeBron James? I think that's up for debate.
That's tough, man.
You know what I mean?
There's
Like,
nothing about Stephen A that would tell me that the feel part makes sense to me. And yes, he probably does feel that he is as big as LeBron James.
I think he also feels like, as man who knows all the things,
Yes.
that he's a man that, like, I think he misses the good old days where people knew not to mess with a man who bought ink by the barrel. You know what I mean?
Right.
And part of what he's done is a little of that. Like, don't make me start talking.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't wrong. I didn't understand any of it, to be perfectly honest. Like,
Well,
why would LeBron, like, why was he so, of all the people who have been critical of him and his son, like,
Yeah.
why are
That's
you
what
making
happens.
this?
Well, because
That's what happens when you've been looking for a reason.
Well,
Yeah.
there's also the last thing. Does Stephen A have kids? I can't remember.
Yeah.
He has kids. Okay. Well, the one thing that usually ends up happening is the minute you start doing the as a father, like that kind of crap, and you start questioning somebody's parenting, I mean,
Right.
those are dynamics that even you with your own parents who, I mean, I've gotten into arguments with my parents about how I've handled things with my kids. And it's like, hey, you had your chance with us. All right.
Yeah.
gonna
Now
do it
I'll tell you
now.
this. I disagree with this idea that we ain't got no room to criticize how people parent, because nobody said that about Marv Marinovich, for example, right? Like, there are spaces in which we absolutely believe that we have room to criticize somebody's parent, and let your 15-year-old daughter get knocked up and then hear about how nobody got room to question your parent, and they're gonna do it all the time. In that case, they probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
But like, there is room for that, and I think that it was fair. First of all, Bronny's too old for us to be talking about parenting.
Agree.
How about that part, right? Bronny's what, 20 years old now?
Yeah.
This is about him being grown. If you still try to parent your child, but they not your child, you're still trying to parent your offspring at 20, I do think we have room to be critical of that, especially if your actions as they relate to that young man are to serve you and to not serve the young man. We have the room to criticize it, right? I get it. I don't have no kids. This kid thing is very difficult. You guys seem to be working very hard. I don't know what it is that you go through. I feel you on that. But I absolutely push back on this thought that we don't get to say nothing. As those of us who got to put up with with your kids, I think we have some room to ask questions as to why they like that.
We'll see. That's where Uncle Bo has a role.
Yes.
Come in and spit game.
That's right.
That's what happens.
That's
Well,
right.
Bonnie,
That's right.
Right time is the podcast. Hey, man, we appreciate the time as always. Good to catch up. We will talk to you later.
All good, fellas. Take it easy.
Always enjoy our conversations with Bomani. You never know where they're going to go. Just like you never know the flavor directions at Two Roosters.
I was going to say, sir, I'm locked in.
You're locked in, but every
locked
month
in.
they surprise you. They're like, whoa. You just
that's
put
fair.
out a bunch of heaters and now you're doing more. Like, what? How do they keep doing this? That's the beauty of Two Roosters. So check out their various locations. Go to tworoosters.com to find out what the rotating flavors are right now. Very sports centric this month, though.
Yeah, and if you could stay away from my location, that would be awesome. Last couple of times over in person, I'm in line, the place is packed. Jared's making all kinds of money.
Yeah.
So let me do the thing that my corporate champions love the best. Let me pick out the one thing about the store that I don't like. So yeah, man, stay away.
Yes.
Let me go get my chocolate chip carrot cake at my discretion.
I'm sure Jared.
Not yours.
I'm sure Jared really wants you to tell. Like, don't go here.
No, you know where you really need to go for real. The 23rd, 423. Over in Cary, the Waverly location, they will have the players from the Courage, including the genius Denise O'Sullivan, who came up with the chocolate chip carrot cake. That's Mount Rushmore flavor. Unbelievable. You got to get it.
Big thanks to Longleaf Swine. Like, you can make a whole day out of it. Go to Longleaf Swine for lunch or dinner, and then go over to that Person Street location. I'll be at that Person Street location on Saturday because it's my mom's birthday. Well, my mom's birthday was this past weekend, but we're celebrating on Saturday. So we're going to go out to dinner, and then we're going to go to Two Roosters after that.
That'll be fun.
I was at Longleaf this past Sunday because I know they had the John Daly's ready to go for the Masters. I had the brisket burrito for brunch. I've told you about this.
Oh, no, wait a second. I have had that. There's like a bacon in there. There's a potato in there.
No. It's the brisket. It's guac. It's salsa roja.
Oh, no,
eggs and fries. They put the French fries in the burrito. It is. Joey was shocked that I ate the whole thing. I'm not, because that's just what I do. There were some people that were sitting next to us and they're like, yo, what's that? I'm like, dude, it's the breakfast burrito. Go get it. So the brunches are off the
They've
charts.
also changed things up over there. Full service now.
It's full service now.
So you're sitting there, you get the full treatment, man.
Menus look clean. It was a good experience.
Menus a little more organized, I'll say that. Yeah. Yeah. But you know me, like I like the challenge.
I know you
And
do.
now it's just, no, what do you want?
Yeah.
Tell me. Here we go.
You didn't I don't get to scan the thing. It's fine. Maybe you get inspired by some of the meats that you have at Longleaf. Go to Butcher's Market. Go to thebutchersmarkets.com. They have all the stuff that you need to make great barbecue. They have all the stuff that you need just to throw a steak on the grill. It's about that time of the year. They got everything you need for a tailgate. So head on over to Butcher's Market. We thank them for sponsoring the mailbag and, of course, our OG lives. And speaking of going out, here's the versatility of Roback. So go to rowback.com, use the promo code OG20. The polos, in and of themselves, you look fire on the golf course, but you also look fire on a night out. Imagine yourself sitting, chilling at Longleaf in a beautiful rowback polo.
I do have my big pickin' that I have worn to the swine before.
And if you're looking to cash, just like Giglio's rocking a rowback hoodie right now, they've got those as well. So go to rowback.com, use that promo code OG20 to save 20% off your order. We are at Crank Arm in downtown Raleigh. Sara Civian is in the house. You finally made it, Civ. You're back in Raleigh.
Oh, guys, clap back for you. Thank you for supporting me, and thank you guys for having me. Seriously.
Well,
So quickly we find out, not here for me, not here for you,
no.
the Civ. As it should be.
Oh, no, we knew that when we did this, not a soul is here for us. Even Kelly is not here for me.
No, your wife. Yes, no.
Yeah, Kelly is here to
I
see
already know
Civian to talk about your cats.
We need Layla and Pearl. Those are your cats'
Lila
names,
Pearl
right?
cats,
Layla
yes.
and Pearl.
And Rangoon, doing the thing.
This is the squad.
So we'll
hockey.
We'll take some audience
Sure.
questions a little bit later on while we're doing this. So yeah, big thanks to Crank Arm for having us out here. Big thanks to Civian for coming through. And you could not have come at a better time, because when you last were here, when you actually were covering the Canes were in a different spot. Canes were kind of having a different personality. They were a bit of the underdog. They were the jerks. The Canes of 2025 going to the playoffs are no longer the jerks. They're kind of the big dog. They're the consistent ones. They're the ones who, I was listening to Spittin' Chicklets on the way in. People expect them to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. There's expectations on this team. Joe's making a face, but that's kind of where the Canes are right now.
It's funny because we can go through what the offseason turnaround was, but they were like little J jerks. Now they're big J jerks, where it's like, oh, you're actually a bully, so you can't be bullying people on social media.
Right.
And they've kind of laid back on that. But yes, they have expectations. They need to win precisely one Eastern Conference final game. That's what I think everybody can get on board with thinking.
Yeah. Are they good enough to get to the Eastern Conference Finals? That's the question. Or is the East in such a situation that, as Giglio likes to talk about when we talk about the NCAA tournament, there's no monster out there in the East. So therefore the Canes, knowing how they play, knowing what they've got, and things have kind of worked out for Rod with all the ups and downs, which we'll get to in a second, all the weirdness of the kind of roster he's been dealing with. They are good enough to get to that spot in comparison to the East.
Yeah, obviously the Panthers are the threat of, I think, probably the entire league right now, where you look at that. If you beat them, you're going to have like a really good confidence going into the cup final. But it's going to be really hard to beat them. I've been watching them play the Leafs a lot. They played them like 3 games in the past month.
Yeah.
And just like line after line, no matter they're missing a few players, they're missing Kachuk, Marchand, what have you, and they're still, it's like a 3-2 eke out game beating the Leafs.
Yeah.
That gives me pause, but Rod always has said if you're gonna have to face a tough opponent, you should do it soon before you're really injured or something like that. He's always been a real guy with that, but I mean, if they have the Devils in the first round, you're at least getting past the first round.
You brought them up. The Panthers, to me, are the most interesting team because we haven't seen what they could be. They're the champions, yet they've added this amazing piece in Marchand, who's been such a pain in the ass for the Hurricanes in the playoffs, quite frankly. Now you add that with a Kachuk brother. I'm not even sure which Kachuk brother they have.
The secret third one.
I really want Ottawa and Florida to play in the playoffs so the two brothers can get on their text thread and tell each other, let's fight tonight. Because that's all it takes in hockey, I've been told.
Yeah.
So
I was at the Four Nations, rolling my eyes a little bit when they were talking about that text thread. And then they're like, I'm mad. I knew that USA was going to lose. And they're like, I'm mad that got out. Like,
yes,
maybe don't
wait a
have
second, we got
that.
technical issues.
Perfect. All right, let's loosen up.
You can hear my great jokes.
Oh man, is the monitor busted?
It was. I tried to move this, and I yanked.
And you,
it out
yeah.
before
It was your fault.
It's your fault.
We're just really excited about this, guys.
They really are. Like everyone's.
All right, so you mentioned the Devils with no issues. They'll get past. But the Canes have a really hard time putting teams away. Sometimes I feel like they play with their food. They don't, all these high danger chances that they don't bury. I could see them getting past the Devils in 6, but I feel like they should be able to do it sooner than that, given the issues that the Devils have been dealing with and injuries as well.
I mean, we'll see what Jacob Markstrom has up his sleeve, right?
Yeah.
Because he can be, when he's on, just incredibly elite, obviously. And then you got Brett Pesci's revenge, Mr. Pesci's revenge as well. And without Jack Hughes, though, like none of the pieces fall into place correctly when it comes to that Devils team. It would be concerning if the Canes don't close it out in at least 6, but maybe it's the trap series, but we could say that about literally anything.
They got Eric Hollow, though. So.
I was going to say, do they still have Eric Hollow?
They still have Eric Hollow.
Who shall not be named.
Canes are going to win. I don't need any other.
What's the stats with Holla against the Canes?
Every time.
Yeah.
The sun sets in the west, rises in the east. Holla loses to the Canes.
And I hope people are wearing their friendship bracelets when they show up to the arena
Is
next
this
week.
a time for a little inside info?
Yes,
Yes,
give
by
us
all
an
means.
Eric Holla story.
Yes.
So a social media manager of one of the teams he's been on since told me that he looked at her and was like, is there a reason why Sara Civian hates me so much?
Oh.
I was like, I don't think I do. I think I'm just like stating the facts of like what the stats are with your career and as it pertains to the Canes. So
I had no idea he was Finnish, by the way.
he went to Minnesota and is
Okay. Well, he showed up in
whatever
the
that
Four
means, he's still
Nations.
Finnish.
Yeah, but I think we've understood, especially with the Mikko Rantanen situation, the brotherhood ain't the brotherhood. You know
That's
what I'm
fair.
saying?
That's fair, but I'll tell you what.
Unless the
His
Dallas
dad
brother.
played football. Like there, like
Oh, really?
he's like
Okay.
kind of American. Yes.
Okay. I'll give you another reason why the Canes are going to win. So I love to go into the locker room and talk to our guys.
Yeah.
So I saw Jarvis the other day, and I'm like, "Hey, man, they're selling Jarvard shirts in the pro shop." He was like, "They are?" He's like, "They're really milking that." I was like, "Yeah, man."
He didn't know that?
No. I was,
Okay.
it's a thing.
All right.
So then I see Aho, and I say to Aho, "This is me, dumb American, 50-year-old American." I go, "Buddy, I knew nothing about the Winter War." He looked at me like, "You fucking idiot!" Like, it was only like the most important thing in the history of our country.
You didn't tell me this.
I saw him, and I go, "Man, I learned so much about Swami." He's like, "Close." And
Yeah.
I was like, you just got to pronounce all the vowels." I go, I know. I said, "But I learned about this shit." I go, this is some real stuff.
Yeah, it's during the Four Nations that we had people calling the sports phone about
And so
this
I'm
stuff.
telling him
Right,
this.
Right.
He's looking. I go, we didn't learn anything about this in America.
No, we did not.
He goes,
We did not.
No, you
No.
know nothing. I was like, "Yes, Jon Snow. I know nothing." But so you mentioned the goalie, a Swede. They don't like the Swedes.
No.
Okay, their best player sounds like somebody who married Julia Roberts at one point, but didn't. Jesper Bratt, right? What was the guy's name that she actually went out with?
Was it not Benjamin Bratt?
Benjamin
Yeah,
Bratt or
Benjamin
Oliver Bratt or
something
one of
like
these
that.
brats.
Right.
So
One
the
of the
Swedes
brats.
and the Finns don't get along either. So I got faith in our Finns in this series.
All right, fair
They'll be
enough.
fired up.
Absolutely. I think KK could really make a statement for himself.
That's a bridge a little bit too far.
Yeah. Should I say it? Well, I love setting it up like that, right? We're like, you know what? This is a great opportunity for this guy who has not panned out to pan out.
Well, I look at it, though, go to the game against the Rangers. I love the fact that the Hurricanes understood the assignment against the Rangers the other night.
Yeah.
Oh, we can end your season? Oh, you've only ended ours twice since
Right.
the last time we were in the playoffs together. So
Rangers media peeing their pants about that, by the way.
are they?
Did
Why?
you like? There was just like 5 prominent people in Rangers media I saw that were like, "Oh, the Hurricanes tweeted, oh, see you guys in the play or whatever." Like everybody was just getting so mad about that. I'm like, this is not. They act like this is actually offensive.
Oh, I mean, that's just social media at this point in
Yeah,
time where everybody gets
I
all
just-
worked up about these things.
But I love that they understood the assignment, got rid of them,
Yeah.
and now they're moving on. But I still have the same questions. Now you've been away a little bit. Do you still have the same questions about if Sebastian Aho is your best player, can you win the cup? Yeah. And can you win the cup with these? I won't even say the second goalie. Can you win the cup with Freddie?
Yeah, it's like, well, Freddie,
Long pause,
it
deep
can't be
breath.
both. It can't be both at once. You know what I mean? And I think Aho knows that, and I think Rod knows that, and he's at every exit interview. It's like, well, we could have another scorer, and then you look at. For me, the most damning thing is in the Rangers series. It was Jake Gensel and Martin Necas with 3 goals. Nobody else. Like they were the highest scorers, and now is Stankoven gonna achieve that? We're looking at Jarvis to maybe be that. And what's your best player, right? Aho can be their best player in a way Barkov is the Panthers' best player at 5-on-5, right? You need somebody who doesn't have the weight. I just look at Aho and I see somebody that is, I know his dad's really hard on him. I know the team's hard on him, and I know no one's harder on him than himself. So there's so much pressure on him, and that's good. He rises to that, but like maybe we always thought Svechnikov would be like the right-hand man. Maybe Jarvis can be.
Jarvis, well, it also depends on what Rod wants to do with the lines.
Yay.
Your favorite topic, by the way. Like, why won't you tweet about the lines of practice, Civ?
Well, I'm traumatized for when I was asking him a question about his fourth line. He goes, "What do you think the fourth line is?"
Oof.
I said, "Okay, Confucius. I don't know."
So I think what you're hitting on, though, is something that has been bothering the Canes or nagging at specifically the Rod Brindamore era Canes, in that they're really good regular season teams, but once they get to the playoffs, everything seems to bog down, not work. High danger chances don't get cashed in.
The Corsi Cup champions, not the Stanley Cup champions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm galaxy braining this, but last year was the year that everybody went into prove it mode, right down to getting Jake Gensel right. This year, I feel like the Canes are going into the postseason with not a lot of expectations, or this isn't the year, quote unquote. And I think it kind of speaks to the weird herky-jerky nature of the season as well. And you and I were talking about this before we sat down and got things going. And I was curious, from your perspective, there was the team that Rod was prepared to have in the offseason. And we talked to him in the summer. And I think the quote was, we took a hit.
Yeah.
But then we caught up with him shortly after the Mikko Rantanen trade. And it was like, look, I made the pieces fit. Now there's been a trade.
He was kind of pissed, actually.
We got to make the pieces fit.
And I love that out of him. I love when he's honest.
So he made the pieces fit. To quote, Tool and Schism. So that's the second reference this week. So then the Mikko thing happens. He's trying to make that fit. Clearly, he didn't want to fit, so he's off in Dallas. Now he's got new pieces. And the most Canes thing happened. We talked about this with Luke DeCock from the News and Observer. The most predictable Canes thing happened after the double deal, in that they went on this win streak. So things have cooled off a little bit. We get it. It's the end of the season. It's a slog. But I feel like Rod's already gone through 3 different seasons in one. And I'm curious how that all presents itself once we get to the 4th season, now that we're in the postseason.
The secret 4th season.
Exactly.
I feel like a pro of me going from covering one team to covering the whole league is that, like, when you get to this elite level and you get to the parity there is in this league, no one's as special. Like, no certain franchise is as special as they think they are. And that's good and bad, right?
Yeah.
Like, look at the Toronto Maple Leafs. If the Hurricanes are the Corsi Kings, so are they the Corsi Queens? Like, it's the Corsi Archbishop.
The Corsi Jacks.
I just feel like anybody is going to have that pressure and expectation on their own team, but at the same time, things are happening that aren't black and white, that are in the gray area for every single team that's really good. There's like 16 team makes the postseason. Like 9 of those are really, really good, and they have these weird stretches, and they're making trades or whatever. What I don't like, and what you brought up, is the prove it. It should always be prove it. You never know when you know how good the rest of the league is, and you see someone like Jim Nill, to his credit, the GM of the Stars, gets there and proves it before anyone.
Yeah.
And things worked out with the Rantanen situation. I will say, with the Canes, I think it was the correct move. If he's saying, I'm not, like, he didn't even have to say it. You guys watched him play.
Yeah.
He was saying, I'm not wanting to be here right now. You got to trade him. That wasn't the intention. I liked that Tulsky and Rod, in their own little ways, admitted that that's not what was the intended situation, and they cut their losses. But I feel like, and you look at a Avalanche situation, you cut your losses sooner.
Yeah.
Like, you can make a trade at any time in the season. You can do whatever. It's like GM is realizing this year they have free will. That's how I feel with the cap rising coming next year too. It's like you've got the Avs. Really, that was the most enlightening situation, where they had 2 goalies that were bad, and they simply traded them and got 2 better goalies, and were amazing. Sometimes it is that simple. Not for the Canes, although I would like them to get them Mackenzie Blackwood. Like,
all All right, so here's the deal. We have a fourth mic, a rare fourth mic situation. We have people hanging out here at Crank Arm. So if you have a question for Civian, you'll be off camera, but you will be on mic. So by all means, please come up to the microphone, state your name and your question for Civ or for the group, and we'll go from there. Please, nobody rush to the microphone.
While we wait, I'm going to correct myself in real time. You could play the sounder if you want corrections and clarifications. I hate when I do this. Jacob Slavin is the best player on the Carolina Hurricanes, not Sebastian Aho. So let me correct myself in quasi-real time.
Yeah.
These are things we learned during the Four Nations Cup.
Fair.
Because the rest of the country was like, who is this guy?
Who's this young buck?
At this
Where
point,
did he come from?
but
that's
what's the definition of best?
Right.
What, most
best
important?
forward. Yeah. It's still Slavin, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be.
He's like the mom on Christmas that does everything, and you're like, well, dad's the most important because he has to come through. We have the baseline consistency with someone like Slavin that you don't even remember that he exists, and then mom's crying in the bathroom. And you're, what happened?
Wait.
Is this the bear?
Wait, whoa. Who's the dad in the situation on Christmas where the mom did all the gift wrapping, the gift shopping, and everything else, and the dad is surprised with the kids? Who's that in this situation? I've seen the meme.
Give me a second.
I try not to be that. So.
I mean, Eric Tulsky.
But I like that he is the mom on Christmas.
That's
good.
That's
That's
true.
just
That's
him.
true. That's true. Well, it's funny. One other quick
Jordan
point here
Saul.
before we start taking some questions.
Yeah.
You know, you're bringing up the Four Nations and Jarvis and Jacob Slavin, things like that. A lot of people are making a big deal about who's not in the playoffs, right? It's not your usual suspects. It's not New York. It's not Boston. So it's now like, all right, lonely eyes turn themselves to, okay, Ovechkin's the obvious one. Are the Canes going to get a little bit more love? Is Mark
They're going to
Messier,
get more hate.
Is Mark Messier going to tell you how he would fix the Canes in a Mark Messier way like he would with the Rangers?
No, if you know these guys, you know they're going to lean into like not liking the tradition.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
where's
fair.
Brian Burke? This is his bat signal.
Okay, fair enough.
It's time to rally
Fair enough.
around hate. Yay! Not my choice, but this is the first time in NHL history. What is it? The Rangers,
Red Wings.
Yeah.
like all
Bruins.
this amount of
Original six.
the original six aren't in
Aren't
for the
in.
first time in NHL history.
All right, let's take some questions. Please
Chicago.
hold the mic, state your name and your question.
All right. Hi. Hi, Civ. I'm Paul. First of all, I'd like to thank you for being a loyal Twitter follower of mine. You're probably
Never
my
leave it.
favorite. You're probably my favorite follower. I really appreciate that.
Follow you forever.
You know, you're going to get a lot of questions tonight about, you know, the Eastern Conference being sort of wide open, Alexander Nikishin, when is he coming? But the most important question, I think, and it's the most important question on everyone's minds, is how do the Hurricanes affect the Leafs?
Thank you, Paul.
It's like always 1 degree of Toronto Maple Leaf. Did you guys see the Athletic article that was like Rory McIlroy won, so the Leafs are gonna win? Guys. None of them are even Irish. Please. Let me think.
I mean, all the Canes have to do is bring out like a David Ayers
Well,
montage.
Freddie. You got Freddie.
And you got
Freddie.
Dean Chenoweth,
Yeah,
noted assistant coach.
yeah.
That's
Noted.
a beauty.
Oh, by
of
the
a
way,
guy.
if anyone is here who chants out Gleason during the national anthem, please leave. Like I got fired on a random Wednesday in 2023. I don't want people to get fired. I might need Tim Gleason to get fired so stupid fucking people can stop chanting Gleason during the national anthem.
When does that happen? At what
Seriously.
portion of the anthem?
The twilight's last gleaming.
Yeah.
It is the single
Yeah.
dumbest. Look,
Yeah.
I'm a state fan, and people say Wolfpack instead of Home of the Brave. Gleason, really? Can we? And like, no, thank you.
The Froze is talking right.
The Froze hit.
The Froze's hit.
I know,
the
but they're
Froze-
right in front of me. It's the problem.
The Froze and the Jameson hit Giglio right now.
It was the
All right, do we
Jameson,
have another
not
question?
the
Do we have
Froze.
another question? We have another question? All right, somebody's coming up to the microphone. Please state your name and your question.
There's no
Hey, guys.
children here. We're in a brewery.
Jonathan.
Hi, Jonathan.
And
Yours doesn't count.
it's like 2 for 1, actually. First of all, who do you think is the dark horse this year? Because it's usually safe not to bet on the 1 seeds when it comes to NHL. But who's that team that everybody's like, oh, crap, it's them this year. They're just on a roll. And the second one is Carberry, Capitals. Is he the difference maker for them this year? Thank you.
Thank you, John.
I'll hang up and listen.
F the Capitals, and I will hang up and listen.
I want so many articles about what Carberry is doing. I feel like it's easy to say, like, and you look at like the award for the best coach. It's like, oh, they have the most overperforming team of the year every single year. That's how it. And oh, how could this happen? Look at the shooting percentage, and you've got that with the Capitals right now. They were a horrible offensive team for 3 years in a row. Now suddenly they're getting back to their baseline where you got Tom Wilson having a career year, Ovechkin breaking his leg, coming back, not a problem. Is Carberry's personality like helping with that? I absolutely think so because he is not hard on them. But there are some situations where you have like a Craig Berube the Leafs need somebody to be hard on them. The Capitals, they're older and they're younger, but it's like you have the way I can explain it, like Chara was more of the coach of the Bruins than some of those coaches of the Bruins that were passing by at that point. You stand up straighter, and you stand up straighter, and you got an Ovechkin. So it's
Shouldn't Juicy J be the coach of the year?
Bands will make her dance.
Yes.
So they're dancing. But that happy-go-lucky aspect, I think Carberry brings that. He knows when to take his foot off the gas and let them cook. Let the bands make that they're popping bands. That matters.
And the giant Latvian guy that they put on their second line. That guy's a monster. Yes. Where did he come from?
Yeah, he's a beast.
I don't know where they drafted him.
I would too.
So
Great genes.
You got the drafting, exactly. I'm scared that for them because he has come up. So I think he's like the third leading scorer on the team behind Ovi and Tom Wilson or Dylan Strome. So he's been injured, but he's coming back. Anyway, I guess the point of the question was dark horse.
The dark horse. I got it. You already said it.
No, you say it.
The Leafs. We're so asleep
because Rory McIlroy.
But they're the number one seed. It's so.
Are they the number one? No.
Number one in the Atlantic.
Yeah.
Number one in the Atlantic.
Yeah. No, you can't win the Presidents. Throw them out. Is that the Jets?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry,
forget
Jets.
it.
It's over.
Forget it.
It's over for you. Even Rod said it.
He finally
it's so
admitted
hard though when you ask the question dark horse. It's like anything would be a pick me answer if that makes sense. Where it's like the teams are so close together that it's like you're either saying something like the Habs or the Blue Jackets who haven't even qualified yet, or it's like everybody else has clearly like close to 100 points.
How about the Senators?
The Senators,
because they haven't been in a million years. And their
wouldn't
entire
pick
team
it.
was in the Four Nations.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, why does this crappy team never in the playoffs?
Yeah.
And they finally were like, oh, wait a second.
Wait a minute.
They don't have the difference maker.
The other
that
Kachuk.
would be Brady. We'll see. I'm scared about if he's going to be nursing an injury when he comes back because it's been since Four Nations.
Right.
And he's going to be nervous. But
right.
I think he's a psycho, so I think he could do it. You know what? You're
These are
talking
good things in the playoffs, right?
If there has to be a dark horse, it's going to be him.
All right, time for another question from the audience. Please state your name and your question, sir.
So, hello, I'm Al.
Hi, Al.
Hello.
We know you. We love you.
Yeah, thank you. So, two questions. One's kind of macro, one's kind of micro. And it actually feeds off of what you were just talking about. Of the two top seeds in the NHL, which one do you think has the better chance of getting kicked out first in the playoffs? And then the micro is you've obviously covered the team on the local level and have seen it from the bigger level. What do you think would be Rod Brindamore's biggest blind spot as a coach? Like, nobody's perfect. We all love him here, but clearly, what from your experience, from what you've seen, do you think would be his biggest blind spot?
Okay, great questions. I feel like, so I don't know if you guys saw the NHLPA came out with a poll, a players poll. They do this every year, but one of the most interesting developments of the one that came out this year today was that Connor Hellebuck was kind of like the third most popular goalie that they think who's the best goalie in the league. It was Andrei Vasilevsky's skill. I forget who the second one was, but the third was Hellebuck, and it was only like 15% confidence. So the way NHL players look at this is like, show me what you can do in the playoffs. I hate that maybe I'm getting old or dejected or jaded. I saw the Four Nations live.
It's just welcome.
Yeah,
Older,
31.
Siv. Welcome.
Yeah. I kind of feel like the pressure on Hellebuyck right now is insurmountable, and the absolute gauntlet. Like we've seen the East bubble race, where it's like it's more mismatched when you get to the actual playoffs when it comes to the first seed and in the final seed. I feel like if anyone's going to lose, it might be the Jets, who are completely hinging their hopes on the one guy who has not been able to get it done. And I feel like it speaks, even if I don't understand it, I can go through the advanced analytics. I know like the players in their soul think he's not the guy that's going to get it done. So I'm gonna go with them on that one. And
So, real quick though,
please.
do you think a goalie still wins the cup? Because even Vasilevsky,
No.
Point, Stamkos, like their
Tulski's-
power play was crazy.
Tulski's straight up said.
No, I know, but
What did he
even
say?
even if you go Vasilevsky,
point to the Vezina winner who's been the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
so I'm just saying, like even Tampa,
No, that's
as good as Vasilevsky was in the playoffs,
Yeah.
I don't think that's the reason necessarily. A
I agree.
Patrick Waugh, a Marty Brodeur,
Yeah.
like they carried the carcass of their teams
Not even a
to the
Shesterkin.
cup.
Yeah, not even a Shesterkin can do it in the regular season right now, where has still been unbelievable.
You made me twitch there because reflex.
Yeah.
What?
My thing is, if your name's not on the cup,
Yeah.
don't tell me how great you are.
Yeah, I
Don't
agree.
tell me how
and
great you
that's
are.
why these NHL players are like Vasilevsky's still the dog right now and you saw he turned it on for one of the best stretches of his entire career after Four Nations. He's been like .930 since Four Nations. That's insane. And it's been the absolute difference. So I think a guy like him I think a guy getting hot at the right time, but I don't think it's like you lose because of a bad goalie. You can't, or you lose because of a below average goalie, or maybe even an average goalie, but you don't necessarily win because of a great one. It's one guy at the end of the day, right? And I think that's where the tandems come in, where it's like the tandems have been so successful recently, but
It's like
Here we
Tam. It's like Tam Impala. It's just one guy. All right, we have time for one more.
We're gonna get out of here on
Love
this.
that band.
You gotta
It's just
say
one
it.
guy,
You gotta say
Sid.
it the right way.
Well, no, we got time for one more question. So if somebody else wants to come up to the microphone and ask Civ one more question, we got people like, all right, what do we got here? I'm gonna
Whoa.
vamp here. In the meantime, big thanks to Crank Arm
How are you?
for hosting
Great to
us
see you.
today. And
Yes,
I'm sure
big shouts to the Crank Arm.
Also-
Crank Arm's always
Great
getting
beer.
it done. Yeah.
Rod's blindside is Tom Dundon, so chew on that one.
Ooh, I'm gonna.
It's a good call.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to think of
Drop my beer on that one.
I'm gonna have to.
Was nervous about that one.
I'm gonna have to ponder that one actually. That's
Well,
a good
you
one.
know, when I
Hold on
said
for a
something to
second.
him and he goes, "Now you sound like Tom."
No, you're right. You're right about that. You're right about that.
He was not saying that as a compliment.
You're right.
Sir.
You're right about that. All right, let's open up the mic. State your name and your question.
What's going on, guys? I'm John, and
What's up, John?
so here's my question. I listen to a lot of, I listen to Fan Hockey Show, 32 Thoughts, all those guys, and I hear a lot about, it's almost an implication that Florida is just going to turn on the switch when the playoff time comes.
Sure.
And I personally, I don't see it. I just they've played 2 extra months of hockey for the last 2 seasons. That eventually catches up to you. And the consistency just hasn't been there for them this season. I'm wondering where that mentality comes from. And I get it, the Marchand pickup, the Seth Jones pickup.
Right.
Like, great pickups for them, for sure. But, they've been losing games they should win for a good month now. And I just, the thought that they can just turn it on in the playoffs, I just don't see it. So where does that mentality come from for you guys?
General thought is also with the Canes too about turning it on. They're it's pretty obvious that the next 2 games on the road are not going to be fully rostered teams, and Rod talked about it today in terms of rest and everything else. So there's a lot of teams turning it on. They're not alone in that.
I think I know where this comes from.
I think they
Thanks, man.
win games that are against the best players that they see as playoff competition. The way they've won against the Leafs, it's they woke up and decided, all right, Sam Bennett's going to... You see the power play. You see the lines coming at you. You see there's no weakness in the team. And we are creatures of habit, creatures of pattern, right? So we're looking at this team and saying, okay, the devil I know is, in this case, worse than the devil I don't. We're I know what they're capable of. Maybe another team has to prove itself, right, to get that honor and that respect. Where all right, they can eke it out at any moment. I think the Lightning have done that for me, where I did not respect them in the beginning of the season at all.
That's
now
where
I'm
it
like,
comes
you know
from.
what?
Yeah. Kucherov.
John Cooper.
That's where it comes
Yeah.
from. They had him on ice the whole year.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he shows up in the playoffs. You're like, no, you can't snap your fingers. And I'm like, oh,
Wait,
Jesus,
I
you
can't.
just did.
Yeah, you can.
So that's Kachuk coming back. That's Marchand being in the lineup. Like,
Are we sure about Kachuk?
no, we're not.
No.
no, we're not.
No, we're not.
No, we're not. We're not. We're not.
And you know they're kind of dicking us around. Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, whatever you want to say, whatever you want.
That,
Say- you can say
right?
whatever
Like,
you
if
want.
they're going to play mind games with us, if anyone's going to do it, it's both of the Kachuk brothers who are both, how dramatic, slated to maybe be back for game 1, right? We're going to see what happens. And I think that element of it, like, I covered the Bruins, like, all of the Bruins playoff runs, I've been there, even though I'm not covering the team, I'm, like, kind of going to the other locker room or whatever, and it's just, like, you can see, like, the professionalism around, this isn't our first rodeo or whatever, about I'm going to make people guess in a way they don't even know they're guessing. That's what's happening right now. Yeah. And the quiet, like, okay, here's what we're going to say about this player if he's available or not, but we're not going to make it a big thing. Where, you know what, another blind spot for Rod might be saying whatever, but I don't want to say that out loud because I love that he says whatever.
Lets it loose.
Yeah.
He does.
No
love
filter.
loose.
I
He
just,
does love
that's
loose.
who he really is. I love that guy. We all know I love him.
Civ, we appreciate you coming through.
Pimp,
I mean,
pimp the
thanks for bringing
Substack.
me here.
Come on now.
So the Civ Report, I subscribe to it. I enjoy it. I know the one that came out today was basically a bandwagoner's guide to the Eastern Conference. So I do appreciate that. So go check that out. Go to the Substack. Throw Civ some money and support her.
You guys already have, so thank you so much. Like, I could cry thinking about it. I never thought it would take off that way. Like, and it's, you look at the demographics, it's like 45% Raleigh, North Carolina.
That's good.
Thank you guys. Seriously, thank you. I know. Thank you.
I'll say this.
I love you guys.
I'll say this about when you came to the market and you started covering the Canes. It was something that was needed. Something that was a different voice. That was something that wasn't so stodgy, which is something that this market
Oh my God,
needs.
British Bake Off.
I'm just saying. I was more of a Blur guy than an Oasis guy.
I'll translate that for you. You were not Adam Gold.
Or Luke DeCock.
Or
for that
Luke,
matter.
either one.
So that also matters as well. Those things matter. And I think you connected with the
Yeah.
fans in a way that a lot of other people were not able to connect. And I think that's why you get a lot of Raleigh people.
Well, looking back, you only know what you know, and it's like your first big time job, right?
Yeah.
What could I do in that? Like, I still talk to Adam like weekly. I'm gonna go on a show Thursday.
Oh, Adam will never let the text thread go. So
no,
I get it.
no, and I don't want him to.
No, I
It
get it.
keeps me connected to Raleigh.
He's
but
gonna constantly argue with you over text. I get it.
maybe you want to be like a hip, new, young thing, right?
Right,
And then
right,
you're
right.
like, no, I've become those people too, and that's I'm proud to be. It's like a badge of honor.
Yeah.
Oh, we're still here.
Yeah.
Still kicking, right? And like people are sick. I want people to be sick of me. That means I'm still
That's a good
here.
thing.
Hey,
But,
that's a
like,
good thing.
Maybe you don't know that going in, and it's like, oh, I'm getting all this praise or
Hey.
whatever. But shout out to the two OGs over here, and all of them before us.
Hey, look, I welcome the hate comments in the YouTube comment section or people getting mad at Instagram because like,
Aha. You're still there.
we still make you feel some type of way.
Big thanks to we didn't need the OG Sports phone in person. Thanks to the people who walked up and had some questions for Civ and hung out at Crank Arm yesterday. That was a blast to do. I'm glad we could make that work. Might do it again. I love these kind of pop-ups, man.
The angel and devil on the cursor don't get me every time.
Every single time. Speaking of pop-ups, our friends at Happy Inhale have a pop-up right now in the Smoky Hollow area of downtown Raleigh. We took a hockey break with Civ. You need a lunch break.
Take a break. Let's take a hockey break. Brought to you by Happy Inhale.
That pop-up is there by the downtown Publix. It's a cool spot. They got the pickleball court. We went yesterday. I got the Mexi Bowl.
I got the Med Bowl.
Delicious as always.
Crazy delicious and cheap. $10.
Just $10.
Are you kidding?
In and out. Ready to go.
And they're ready.
Ready to go.
Delicious.
So head on over to that pop-up in downtown Raleigh. And if you want the more classic sit-down experience, or you're on the go you got to go even quicker, download the app.
Yes.
And it makes it really easy for you to pick up and use that promo code OG25 to save 25% off your order. So again, big thanks to Happy and Hail. Big thanks to Hometown Realty. Check them out online at myhtr.com. Buy, sell, calculate. As we've been discussing, there's a lot of noise about guaranteed offers. It sounds easy. It sounds convenient, but you're also leaving money on the table, especially in this market where the home values are through the roof. So why would you leave money on the table? Maximize the value of your home and contact our friends at Hometown Realty, buying or selling. In terms of like new construction, they know the incentives. In terms of selling your house, they're going to maximize that value. So again, that's myhtr.com. Let's say you're buying a house, right? You contacted Hometown Realty. You're ready to go. You got to finance that thing, man. Miller Lending. MillerLending.com/the OG. Now, this is your more traditional, classic sense of financing a house, right, with a lender. But the key difference with Miller Lending and why I've always used them is that there's no closing costs. And they're also very upfront about your situation and tailor it to your needs. So you got to buy a house. The rates might not be ideal right now. Don't sweat it because you're not paying closing costs. The rates come down. Refinance, no cost to you. You're not worrying about some sort of break-even point. Let's say you're not in the business of buying a house right now, but you've collected a lot of debt. Credit cards are through the roof. Those rates suck. Straight up. I have no other way to put it. Those rates suck.
Terrible.
And regardless of what you think about housing rates right now, they're a hell of a lot lower. So you can consolidate that and make it work for you with Miller Lending. There's all sorts of needs, and Miller Lending is going to make sure it works for you. That's the key difference. They're local, they're here, they understand the market, and they're going to help you out. So contact them today, 919-447-3377, or check them out online at millerlending.com/the OG. That landing page will show you about the Raleigh wine shop and a gift basket for you when you go through that process. See,
I was going to say, it's also important to just call.
Yeah.
Because, like, you know, you're going to have a conversation and you might think, oh, man, my rate's too low, or, oh, man, I can't afford this, or I can't do that. They're going to look out for you. Like Austin's not going to sit here and be like, no, just give me your money. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to give you the best deal possible and work with you through some different options for the best deal possible. So give them a call, 919-447-3377.
Let's see. You bought a house, you financed it with Miller Lending. Oh, yeah, you got to insure it. That's where our guy Matt Davis comes in. Even if you're not in the business of buying a house or refinance or whatever, you still want to save money. And speaking of just having conversations, have the conversation today with Matt Davis and the crew over at State Farm in Garner. 919-779-8277. InsureGarner.com is the website. Let's see. You've insured it. You're saving money. You've refinanced. Or you got the house. But you got to enjoy the house, right? Mosquito Authority, Pest Authority. You just got this house, or you just did a remodel because you wanted to do the back deck again. You wanted to get a new patio. You got this gorgeous outdoor kitchen. Well, you know what? The mosquitoes to screw it up, right? Bugsbite.com. And it's April, Joe. There's a deal.
$29 American dollars. I know what you're thinking. Joe, I'm already using Mosquito Authority. No.
Don't worry.
Reach out to them, bugsbite.com. Let them know you heard the ad on the OG. They will honor that deal. $29 in April for your first mosquito control service.
All right, let's get out of here with some Hey Joe. We still have some residuals from the Masters from Cam. It's been a good week cashing those futures. What do you do here?
I saw that.
McElroy plus 650.
Nice. Let's see when he placed that one, because that was a decent number.
That was I don't know when he placed it on April 7th. Okay. And then he also had one back on December 24th.
Ooh, so he did watch that Carolina Florida game and decide.
Look at that. Good for Cam, man. Love when we you post the wins. I love that. Let's go to the OG Sports phone.
919-444-2211. Call the OG Sports phone and curse or don't.
Of course, the Sports Phone is brought to you by Nature's Relief. Check them out at naturesreliefhempstore.com, RELEAF hempstore.com. This is from a 336.
Don't want to keep harping on the Masters. I know it was just this weekend, and you guys talked about it a lot. But I will say, I heard the guy talk about how the Masters is Disney World for, other adult men that don't like Disney. And I get it. Very, very cool. And I love the Masters. I sit and watch it. I shed a tear when Rory won. It was a big deal. But when I got a text asking if I would rather watch the Masters on Saturday from home or go to Universal's new Epic Universe theme park that's not even open yet as for a preview, I did not hesitate. And I missed out on Masters Saturday. And it was great to check in and see Rory moving up the leaderboard. Set up for a great Sunday. But, yeah, Joe, you're not alone. I'm a Disney adult. I'm an NC State fan. And I live in Orlando. There's a lot of correlation. I know there's others out here, too. Joe, you're not alone. Would love a Disneyland trip report. Goodbye.
I love that call. Also, we do live in an era where while you're waiting in line, you can watch the Masters. We're so connected now that it's all good. Just make sure you have a battery bank to keep your phone charged. I remember it was a Labor Day weekend, and I was in line for Space Mountain with my brother, and we were watching NC State football on ESPN. You could do that. What?
You're nut.
There's all sorts of Disneylands out there for people. Like you go out to Asheville, and please go support Asheville. Go spend money. They need it. They need the tourism. But I've always said Sierra Nevada, right? The big facility out there. That's beer Disneyland for a lot of people. Very, very cool space. But yeah, man, there's all sorts of Disneylands for folks. But I'm kind of jealous you got to see Epic Universe, man. The Super Nintendo world looks,
oh boy.
Dude, you get to do Mario Kart. There's like a there's a Donkey Kong coaster. I need to go. Maybe, you know what? Maybe we can we can expense it. We can do an OG field trip down to
Will your
Epic
brother let
Universe.
us stay with him or?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can stay in the room with the turtle.
Okay.
Carl, I believe, is the turtle's name. Yeah.
I like that. As long as I don't have to go on any rides, I'm okay.
That's right, because your neck would be shot.
I don't do rides.
You can get some hot takes from Toad.
But there's a lot of good golf down there.
There is.
You could go to your actual Disney products,
and
I would just play whatever golf course.
Fair enough. All right, let's go to 1804.
Hey guys, it's that time of year. Can you feel it coming? The over excitement, premature excitement, and panic of the transfer portal. Just already seeing it on social media, highlights of old players or players coming in, and it's an epidemic of people glazing, sorry, Ovies, about a damn practice clip and proclaiming the guy is the guy and this team's winning it all. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. The one certainty during the transfer portal is uncertainty. I was very excited about Pete Nance and Dawson Garcia and knew nothing about Brady Manick. And how did that turn out? Just like anything else, I think it's a little premature and a bit prisoner of the moment. And I'm not doing it. I'm waiting until at least December and January. And I'd like it if everyone else joined me. I know it's not going to happen. I know the climate we're in, we're going to see social media posts, but man, it's already happening. And Carolina does it, and I see that more than anyone, just with the people I follow, but everyone does it. And, you know, I'm just going to wait until maybe we play 5 games, maybe. Let's see how the pieces fit. Who knows? Oh, well.
I mean, very reasonable call. We'll see how all this stuff plays out. Same with the football portal. Basketball portal is no different. Maybe sometime we can spend some time tomorrow on OG Live about the NFL light nature of the portal. Yeah, like legal tampering. That's what they call it in the NFL.
Well, he's on the hoop side.
He's on the hoop side of things, but there's also some legal tampering that would happen on the hoop side, just like there is in football. It's like the portal opens and all of a sudden you already got decisions made.
You're going to go, huh? No, but this all brings us back to maybe one of the great summer topics.
Yeah,
Ryan Harrow, the mixtape.
Man.
Who had the greatest mixtapes? Ryan Harrow is on the list.
I forgot which.
He broke all mixtapes and highlights for me.
I forgot which ACC tip-off it was. When we were even talking to guys that went to Carolina, and we asked, like, where were you when the Ryan Harrow mixtape dropped? They're like, yo. Like, even they were enamored
Austin
with it.
Rivers is another that's considered to be one of the great mixtape heroes of all time.
Hey, man. Everybody's got a niche.
And then he got mad because it was pointed out that he goes, yeah, but back in my day, I had a mixtape because I was the best player in the country.
Yeah.
Not everyone got a mixtape. He's like, now everybody gets a mixtape.
Oh, I saw that clip. Yeah, no, I saw that clip. Everybody gets an On3 graphic now, too. You know, the On3 graphics are just unhinged at this point. Every time we do talk about the ACC, and we'll spend some more time on this tomorrow, is brought to you by our friends at Keller Williams. Keller Williams Commercial, the Donnelly team is going to help you out with commercial real estate. So contact them today at 919-616-8681, triangleNCcommercial.com. Got time for one more OG Sports phone from a 937.
Hi, guys. It's Billy from Dayton, Ohio. I appreciate the shout out a couple of days ago about your trip out here to the Midwest for the band competition. Yes, UD and the UD Arena are terrific. Hey, listen, glad you went to the Oakwood Club. Terrific place. Next time you're out here, would love to host you at the Pine Club, another great steakhouse near the arena that does some great bourbon pours. My connection, guys, to the Triangle, my daughter and my son-in-law and grandson live in North Ridge in Raleigh, and we've been making regular trips out there to see them. In fact, I'll be out there next week. Love playing some golf there. And I would love to see you guys on a remote at some point when we visit the next time. I follow Carolina, I follow State, and I follow Duke. At the end of the day, I think I'm a Wolfpack guy. Thanks, guys.
Well, if appreciate the call, and if I believe the WGI Indoor Percussion Championships happened in Dayton all the time, I have to double check on that. I don't know if they take it around to various arenas. But yeah, man, Dayton's got, look, every city's got some bright spots, man. Hit a couple breweries. That Oakwood Club was very, very good with the steak. As I said, the bourbon pour was fantastic. I could have done without the sleet, but I get that so high. Oh, and the other place that I went to, you actually would appreciate this. It was called like Marion's Piazza.
Ooh.
And when you walk in, it's like you're transported back to 1978.
I do like that.
It's wild. And we went there on a Friday night before we headed back. And the lovely older woman who was working the drink counter took me to task for getting another pitcher of water for the kids. And she's like, please bring back the pitcher of water we gave you. I was like, okay. And then she's like, it's Friday and Saturday. We're very busy. And I look around and it's nothing but older families pounding pitchers of beer because the pitchers of beer were cheap. And the pizza was old. They put hamburger on top of the pizza and they cut them up into little squares. But I think it was called like Marion's Piazza. I remember it was Piazza. And again, you walk in, it's like you're transported back into 1978. They had an arcade in there, man.
Yeah.
When's the last time you went to a pizza place with an arcade in it? It was, I loved it. I thought it was great. Anyway, big thanks to Sara Civian for hanging out with us at Crank Arm. Big thanks to Bomani Jones for hanging out with us today. We will see you for a Butcher's Market OG Live, 2 o'clock Thursday on YouTube.